So welcome back. In this segment of the Let's Get Organized video series, I want to talk about how I store and organize small notions and tools for quilting and different ways to do it in your studio to make it easier to get to your tools. First, I want to talk about one of my favorite things to do is buy these adorable little boxes. Every time I see them in the craft store, they're like 99 cents, but like this one here holds all of my binding clips. They stack up, so they look pretty on a shelf, and you can have, pins in this one, and you could have bobbins in one, but then if you don't use them, they nest inside each other, so you could just put them away and they're taken care of. So buying little containers are great. This one here's got all of my specialty buttons. I have ceramic buttons and glass buttons and clay buttons that are really delicate. So this was just a little gift box that someone gave me that turned into a button box. This one here I got as a Christmas gift one year. It looks like a book on a shelf, but inside are all of my spare glue sticks. So it looks pretty on a shelf, plus I know where my glue sticks are. They're in the book box. Other things I love to use for organizing are bait boxes or tackle boxes. You can get these at Walmart, most sporting goods stores, Target. You can buy them online. They're only a couple dollars a piece. You'll see I've talked about these in other videos I've done. The one I did show you before, but I was going to go in further, is this guy here. This is the one I put all of my sewing machine feet in. And I love that the lid pops off because it stores in my drawer on top of the lid, and then when I have to go on a trip, I can just put the lid back on and throw it in my sewing machine bag with the sewing machine. In here I have all of my sewing machine feet. They're organized by number. They're protected, so they're not thrown in a drawer getting bent or damaged. They're in this case. I have my bigger feet in here as well as my walking foot. I have spare bobbins stuck in here, all of my sewing machine needles, spare bobbin case, seam ripper, a purple thing. I even have one of our little hummingbird threaders that makes it very easy to hand thread a needle, and I have a spare thimble in here. So when I have to go quilting, I can just put this on. I have most of my basic tools, all of my feet and my needles, and I don't have to get to the location and go, oh, I forgot my walking foot, or I forgot my 1/4 inch foot. They're all in the bait box. So that's one way I've used the bait box. Another way I've used it is here's one where I organized all my buttons because I had multiple types of one button. So I know I have all my pinks, all my blacks, all my yellows. They're in this case. It's contained. It's not going anywhere. So that works for buttons. Here's another one that I use. Excuse me. Here's another one I use for buttons. Again, they're like buttons that are all stuck together. That being said about buttons, I do have one humongous jar that I dump all my generic buttons in. And this is just a pretty display to have on your shelf, but anytime I need one button, I can go through here and get them. And I got that at a furniture store. So that was like a $12 thing. Recently, I shared with you guys, I got a Cricut cutter. And when you buy the Cricut cutter, there's all of these feet or wheels, cutting wheels that come with it that look like this. So we're back to the whole scenario of like sewing machine feet. You need to have your feet. So what I did is I took a smaller bait box. This is a double-sided one. And I used a label maker, and I labeled each section what foot it is or what wheel it is. And then I just threw them in here, and I have them. So when I need the scoring wheel, I know this is the scoring wheel. This is the rotary cutter wheel. And I hope I'm putting these all back where they belong. The knife wheel. The bonded fabric foot wheel. Then on the other side of it, it opens again, and these are like the replacements for that wheel, the directions for that wheel. For the scoring wheel, there are 2 heads. The spare one is underneath. So when I pull this out, I have all of the wheels with their assorted replacements together organized. Tackle box. I think it was $1.99. So that's a great way to organize those. At my sewing machine table, we all need scissors and marking pens, We don't necessarily need a pinwheel, but I have one. We made this little cup organizer actually as a project when I went to quilt camp. And it's basically a plastic cup that you then made this flat piece that looks like this, that you then fold down and it goes over the cup. And then you have all your notions. And then when you want to go somewhere, you could pull it out and you could just flip this over and take it like this. This little guy has sat at my machine for years. I love it. It's a really cool way to organize your notions by your machine. I have scissors. I have my oil for my machine. I have our zippy ripper, which if you haven't seen the video on this, it's with our sewing notions. It's the best tool ever. I have some spare little rulers. So all of that is stuff I leave right by my machine. Then back to the Cricut. The other thing you get with the Cricut are all of these tools. So I actually used a rotary cutter bag. These are awesome to hold paints, brushes, tools, your rotary cutter, but just these long skinny bags. It has a little hook. It can hook right on my travel bag. So we've got that. Then we have this guy. We went to As You Wish Pottery and painted it, but I love that it is a dual pencil cup. Be sure you can find dual pencil cups other places. These are all of my fabric pencils and pens. And these are all my regular pencils and pens. It keeps them organized. I have this up next to my cutting table. If I need a fabric pencil, I know they're in this side. So organizing it that way. And then for scissors, I have this over by the ironing board. Again, another fun, cool container. I love containers, if you can't tell. This has got all of my scissors in it. My Teflon paper scissors, my spare zippy ripper, detail scissors, paper, fabric, really nice fabric ones. And this sits over the ironing board because that's usually where I'm cutting borders and threads and whatnot. And I keep this there so I know where all my spare scissors are. The other thing is if you do sewing on the go, if you do a lot of hand sewing on the go, this is a Yazzie bag, and it is yazzii.com, or you can get them on Amazon. And I love these component bags, compartmental bags, because they have these little pages with sleeves in them. So all of my hand piecing stuff is in this bag. It's sitting on a shelf. I pull it out when I want to sew at home, and I pull it out when I want to have sewing in the car. It's contained, it's ready to go. But these little compartment bags are great. These would also have worked for the Cricut tools. You could put all your tools in one bag. Some of your sewing notions could go that way. But this is how I organize a lot of our small tools and notions. And I wanted to share with you that part of the series so that if you have little things just floating around your studio and you lose them, if you give them a home and let them stay in the home, they're easier to find. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you like and subscribe below. You can find the Whimsical Workshop on our website, thewhimsicalworkshop.com, and that has all links to all of our other social media platforms. Thanks for joining us.